Good morning. Welcome back to the channel Awesome Learning. The next topic today we will do is human circulatory system. This includes blood vessels and heart. So children, this is a flow chart which is showing you the human circulatory system. You can see human circulatory system is divided into two basic systems, blood vascular system and lymphatic system. Blood vascular system is again divided into three main parts: heart, blood and blood vessels. Blood is again divided into two parts: plasma, which I told you, the liquid part of the blood, and formed elements, that is the solid part of the blood. They are of three types: RBCs, WBCs and platelets. WBCs or white blood cells are again of two types: granulocytes and agranulocytes. Granulocytes are again divided into three: neutrophils, eosinophils, basophils. Agranulocytes are divided into two types: lymphocytes and monocytes. Lymphocytes are of two types: B lymphocytes and T lymphocytes. So this is about blood vascular system. Now lymphatic system, it consists of lymph. It is also a fluid inside the body, lymph vessels and lymph nodes. So in this chapter we are going to do all these things in detail. So let's start with the first part of blood vascular system, that is blood. Now we see the composition of blood. It is of two main parts. It has two main parts. One is the plasma and the other one is the formed elements. Now the plasma is the fluid part of the blood, which constitutes about 55% of the blood. It is straw colored and slightly alkaline with a pH of 7.4. 7 pH 7 is neutral, so it is 7.4, little bit slightly alkaline, and it is fluid, so the matrix is fluid. Formed elements, the rest of the 45% is occupied by the formed elements. They include RBCs, WBCs and platelets. So this table gives you everything or all the information of the plasma. What are the constituents of plasma and what are the functions? So we see that plasma is made up of 90 to 92% water. Why? And the function here it does is it is a good solvent. Many things dissolve in water, so it is a very good solvent. Next we come is plasma proteins. So 6 to 8% are occupied by these plasma proteins. They are of three types: fibrinogen, globulins, albumins. Fibrinogen is a very important protein which is utilized for the clotting of blood. We will do this clotting of blood procedure further in the chapter. Globulins, they are antibodies. We all know that antibodies are used as a defense mechanism in the body. So globulins are the proteins which behave like antibodies. They prevent us, or they give a defensive mechanism. Then we come to albumins. Albumins are the proteins which will give an osmotic balance. Now what do you mean by osmotic balance? Children, you must have heard the word osmotic pressure. And even if you have not heard the word osmotic pressure, of course you must have heard a word called osmosis. Now osmosis always takes place from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So if the movement is taking place from high to low, why is this movement done? This is done just to maintain the balance. One side the concentration is high and on the other side of the membrane the concentration is low. So to make a balance in the concentration, osmosis occurs. So this balance is always maintained by such type of proteins called albumins. It also regulates the blood pressure inside the body. So albumin plays a very important role in osmotic balance and regulation of blood pressure. Next constituent of plasma is glucose, amino acids, lipids, and cholesterol. All of them provide energy and growth. Inorganic substances like sodium ions, magnesium ions, chlorine ion, bicarbonate ion, and calcium ions are also present they help in the regulation of osmosis. How? If the concentration of iron on one side of the membrane is high and on the other side it is low, then osmosis will occur and movement of iron or exchange of iron from one side to the other side will take place, and this is how osmosis is regulated. Beyond that, there are certain gases also present in the plasma: carbon dioxide, oxygen, nitrogen, etc., which are actually performing the role of transportation. So all these things or all the constituents of plasma are given, and whatever functions they do, they are also provided. Children, plasma without clotting factors. If we take out these factors, fibrinogen, from the plasma, then whatever is left behind is called serum. See, plasma, the clotted blood has been taken below. So all the clotting factors are now downstairs or below, and whatever is left behind, that is called serum. So plasma without clotting factors. There are many other factors which are used in clotting, like calcium ion is also very much important in clotting. So those factors, if we minus all the clotting factors from plasma, then whatever is left behind is called serum. Okay. So children, now we come to formed elements. We told you that formed elements are of three types: red blood cells, also known as erythrocytes; white blood cells, also known as leukocytes; and platelets, also called thrombocytes. So, features of erythrocytes or RBCs. Color. We all know that the name itself tells us that they are red in color, and this red pigment is due to the presence of hemoglobin, a pigment which is present in the RBCs. Normal HB level in the blood should be 12 to 16 gram per 100 ml. This is for a healthy person. RBCs have a lifespan of 120 days. And normally the count should be 5 to 5.5 millions per millimeter cube. RBCs are formed in red bone marrow. Their structure is biconcave, that is concave from both the sides. They do not have any nucleus, mitochondria, and Golgi bodies. Okay, functions. They are responsible for the transport of carbon dioxide and oxygen, which we have already seen in the previous chapter, that is breathing. The next two formed elements will be done in the next video.